You know, whenever you think about dog bones, you don't usually think about glue. But what most people don't know is there's actually glue inside of these dog bones, and you just have to extract it. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do in today's video. So basically how this is going to work is that I'm going to soak these rawhide bones into water and then untie them and unravel them. And then I'm going to cut them all up into small slices and then put all those little slices of the rawhide into a pot and let it simmer for, I think you're supposed to let it simmer for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then you take all of the rawhide pieces out and then you let that boil off and let it condense down. And it's supposed to get like a really thick syrupy glue, and it's supposed to be extremely strong with wood. And as far as I know, if you wanted to do this at home, you can use dog bones, or as far as I know, you can use any type of animal hide or any type of raw hide. So what our first step is going to be is I have this pitcher of warm water, and I'm just going to put these bones in it and try to get them softened up so that way I can untie the knots and then I can unroll them and slice them up. That's going to overflow. I'll just do this. We'll just put them in here. All right, I'm going to try to get as many as I can, and then I will get them unraveled, and then we'll come back. All right, it's been about 20 seconds, and I've already changed my mind. Since this pot can only hold about 2 bones, and it seems like they're going to have to soak for a while before they're loose enough that I can actually untie them and cut them up, I'm just going to use this pot, which you might see some steam that I've filled with hot water, and then I'm just going to put probably about 7 bones worth into this pot until they've loosened up enough that I can untie the knots and then cut them up into little slices, and then I will move them to this pot, and then I can let them simmer and make the glue. Alright, I've had all the bones sitting in that big pot just soaking for about 30 minutes, and now I'm going to dig some of them out, and it seems like they have softened up enough that I will be able to unravel them. Let's just start with these. And these smell exactly like a wet dog. It just, like this whole garage just smells like there's 20 wet dogs in here. You can see, oh okay. See, they're actually pretty loose. Let's just try to work this knot out of here. There we go. That's one end. Oh, that was easy. What is that? I don't know what that is. Alright, so that's one bone that is completely unraveled. Now I'm going to do that for the rest of them, and then I will cut them all up. And something I just realized, just from handling these bones, I'm sure whatever glue I can make out of this is going to work, because just from handling the bones, I don't know if you can tell or not, but my fingers are already extremely sticky just from touching the bones, just from them soaking in water. So far that's a really good sign. Alright, as you can see, I have 3 of the bones cut up inside the pot, and that pretty much gives us 3/4 of a pot, and I'm going to leave the rest of that room in there for the water. And I overestimated how many bones I was going to need, and I didn't include in the pot this stuff that's in the middle that I don't know if it's just like ground up rawhide or what it is, but it smells really bad, and it kind of smells a little bit like dog food. So I was thinking maybe that might be like a treat or something that they put in the middle of the bones for the dogs. So I decided to not include it and just to include just the rawhide. So I'll move these bones over here. And what we'll do is, since I boiled so many extra bones, we still have this water. So I'll just use this water to fill this pot with. So then I have this hot plate right here. So now we're just going to put this pot on this hot plate. And then we're gonna let this sit here and simmer for about hour and a half to 2 hours, and then we'll take all the bits of rawhide out, and then we'll reduce that down to a thick glue. All right, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of an update. You can see that it's still simmering. It's been like this. I've been letting it simmer for about 3 hours now or so, maybe about 3.5 hours. And you can see the water level is about half of what it was. I'm probably gonna let it go for another probably hour or so, and then I'm gonna pull all of the hide out and then just reduce the water down until it gets real thick like a glue. And just in case you're wanting to do this at home, I've been simmering this roughly at about 200 degrees, give or take, for the whole 3 hours that it's been simmering. So I'm gonna let this go for just a little bit longer, and then I will come back whenever I'm ready to pull the rawhide out. All right, it's been about 30 more minutes or so, and you can see that a lot of the water's gone now. So what I'm gonna do now is just kind of get as much of this out as possible and leave as much liquid in as possible so that it can evaporate. It kind of looks like a like a disgusting pasta that smells like dog. This whole garage just smells like a herd of disgusting dogs. All right, that's everything. So now this basically like a broth is what's left, and I'm just gonna let that reduce down to, it'll reduce down to like a really thick syrup, and then that should be our glue in its final form, and then you're supposed to apply it while it's hot, and then we will test it. All right, sorry about the audio. You're just gonna have to ignore the fact that it's pouring down rain outside. But you can see that our mixture has just kind of been reduced down to this jelly. And from what I read, that's what you want, is you want it to be like this jelly, and you want to apply it while it's hot like this and real liquidy, and then it'll dry and harden into a really like sap-like glue. So as I do with all my other tests, I'm going to be doing the same 2 tests I usually do. I'm going to have these 2 wood blocks with the paracord, and I will glue them together with the rawhide glue and then pull them apart with the crane scale. And then I have 2 pieces of the 4x4 that I'm going to glue together, and then we'll put it between the center blocks and put the weights on them until they break. And you'll notice that these 2 pieces of 2x4 are half the length of what I usually use, and that is because this length is as wide as my clamp can go, because I am going to clamp both of these so that you guys don't yell at me anymore. And what we're going to do is I have another set of wood blocks and another set of 2x4s, and then we're going to compare our rawhide glue to everyone's favorite glue, flex glue. Now let's get started. Alright, as you can see, I have the blocks laid out here. I'm just going to set this pot of glue right here. I'm just going to scoop it out with a plastic spoon. Zoom you guys in so you can get a nice close-up shot. Stuff is very, very goopy. That should be enough. Let's just put that right there. And you can see that it is going to be clamped. There it is in the clamp. Now you don't have to yell at me for not clamping it, because it is clamped. I have both of the 2x4 wood blocks. I have really high hopes for this. I really think that this is going to perform extremely well. I think it actually has the potential, because I had some of it on my fingers earlier just from the bones being in the water, and my hands were really sticky, and I had to use a lot of soap to get the residue off. So after being reduced down like this, I really have a feeling that this has the potential to be extremely strong. And once again, it is clamped. Now time for everybody's favorite, flex glue. Alright guys, as you can see, everything is all clamped up, ready to go. I'm going to let everything dry for about 24 hours before I test it. And I really have high hopes for this rawhide glue because it seems like it's going to be really thick and sticky, and it took a really long time to make. It took like right about 6 to 7 hours from start to finish to make it. So I really hope after all that time that it is strong. But I will see you guys in 24 hours to find out. Alright guys, everything has been drying for a full 24 hours. You can see I have the crane scale and the weights hooked up. And the first ones that we're going to be testing is the blocks that were glued together with flex glue as a baseline. Looks like we had another block failure, but it did hold 239 pounds before the block broke. Now it's time for the one that we're all really excited for, the rawhide glue, and hopefully the blocks don't break because I really want to see how much weight this rawhide glue can really hold. Wow. That's all the weights that I have. And that's 352 pounds and it didn't break. So far that's a really good sign. This stuff is really strong. Alright guys, it's time to move on to our second test. I have the 2x4s that were glued together with flex glue. They're going to be what's going first. And as always, I have my 2 center blocks. I'm going to put this brick right in the middle to keep all the pressure right in the center of the joint. And since we know flex glue is pretty strong, we're going to start off with 25 pounds. That's 25. 35. 45, 55, 65. So now since we're at 65, I'll take those off. I'll put both of these 25s on to make it 50. 60. Now we're back to 65. 75. 85. 95. And that's 100. So now since we're at 100, I'll take these off. And I have 2 45s that bring us back to 90. And that's 100. 110. 120. 130. 140. Since we're at 140, send 2 25s. So this brings us to 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, Well, I failed. I turned the camera off for 2 seconds to go get more weights to bring over here, and it broke, as you can see down here. So the flex glue held 190 pounds. All right guys, now it is time for the moment we have all been waiting for, the rawhide glue. So we're gonna put our brick right here, and we're gonna take a little bit of a different approach, and we're gonna put the weights on a little bit more aggressively, since the flex glue held such a high weight, and I have a feeling that this rawhide glue is probably gonna be stronger than that. So we're just gonna add the weights on a little bit faster and a little bit heavier. So we're gonna start off with 25 pounds. And we'll go 50 pounds. $60, $70, $80, $90. So since we have 90, we'll take these off and we'll add the 245s to make 90. That makes 100. That makes 125. $150, $160, well, looks like 160 pounds is what the rawhide glue can hold. Well, in conclusion, it looks like you can make glue from dog bones, and considering how long it took to make, like I said, probably 6 to 7 hours it took to boil these and cut them all down and put them all in the pot and extract whatever it is in the rawhide that can actually make a glue. So it is very strong, and I'm extremely impressed with especially how strong it is, considering that we made this from boiling dog bones. This didn't come in a bottle, this didn't come from a factory. I made this right here in my garage. So that is extremely impressive to me. And I guess if you're ever in the wild or you're in a survival situation and you happen to have some rawhide, you can make some glue in case you have something that you need to glue together. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I had a lot of fun making it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I upload videos every single Saturday at 5 p.m. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.